Yo, what is up, everybody? And welcome back to more Great Ace Attorney. It is so good to see you all. If you normally watch, if you're just watching on YouTube, I have been out for a few days. It's been just a busy time. And, you know, that's just how it goes some days. But now we're back. We're going to get started on episode 3. It's been a bit. But it is good to be with all of you tonight. All right, let's continue. Episode 3, Adventure of the Runaway Room, huh? All right, let's get started. London 5th Ave. The Runaway Room. Well, it looks like we've got a cart.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night.
Oh boy.
Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner.
Okay.
My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude. The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Oh, snap. Oh, okay. A little, foreshadowing. By the way, the blunders mean that every time I make a mistake, if it hits 75, I will gift a sub to the channel.
Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives. This country is incredible.
Oh, it's winter.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay.
Oh, everyone's so
welcome
nice.
To the center of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital.
Love the
London.
artwork. Welcome to London. All right, let's go. Whoa! Look at these gears. Oh my gosh. Where were doves? Or pigeons or something. Holy heck, what is this? The Chief Justice's office? Holy crap! Why do you have all these gears? Oh, it's because he's in a clock tower. I'm with you, Cesaro. That's my reaction. What an incredible place. It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course, but they've only been built in the few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. And yet, I feel like that style is incredibly in. At least in today's world. It's certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more differences than just construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructions to report here at this time if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we are here in a different capacity. As envoys, to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So we'd have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. Which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. Hope I'm up to scratch. Good morning. Sorry for keeping you. Whoa, jeepers! Holy cow, you're imposing. Oh. I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Jeepers, you are late. Oh, no, don't mention it. We've never been happier than when we're standing around with nothing much... How fortunate. Oh, Strongheart. I am Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. Why do I have a suspicion that this guy's going to be involved in one of the future cases? Not this case, but one of the future cases. Ugh. I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I am Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. Yes, thank you. All right, let's converse. Talk about London. So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, well, help. I'm so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say, I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water, and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolution and new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me there, Suzato-san. And everyone here is so jolly and full of vigor. Yes. There is much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. I wonder if the great exhibit is what Kazuma was going to be on a special mission for. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history. It will make Paris' World Fair look like a toy shop. Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. The sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Lord Chief Justice, I think you were expecting a student of law for this study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. It's amazing, the news reached him before we even arrived. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honor this appointment specifically to inform me of this news? Yes. You're here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me you Japanese are a people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that is true. And it was some regret that I must inform you the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed. If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo? This is it then. The moment of truth. The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead. Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead. But without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country, and that was Mr. Soji. At least that is what I have been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo! I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? Oh man, if there is someone else who could be described as a lawyer, it's me. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but no qualifications, you say, and yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I have acted as a lawyer in court before, only once, as it happens. And Kazuma to help me, and I was in the accused, but plus you know the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was aboard the SS Berea. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Now you might, not what you might call full education. I'm a qualified lawyer here in Britain. Not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training. I realize it's far too short a period of time. But I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Soji's journey has only just begun. Coming here on the study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself. I think he's definitely in on whatever Kazuma was here for. But I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? The opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo. It was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead of a lawyer. Oh, thanks. So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? Let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes? You say you intend to do everything Mr. Soji planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? There's something very deep going on that we have no idea about. Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? Let me guess, it's solving this murder trial. So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Huh? Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as yet, so this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. Yo, Mikey, thank you for the host. Much appreciated. What could be simpler? Oh, how did I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask, what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart? Yes, good question. I remember. It's a murder trial. Murder? Extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. That's easy to say. But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will, of course, be sentenced to capital punishment. Capital punishment? Be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably, you read that much in your short sea-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We would be toying with a man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. So the defendant may live or die, depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo, you have come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asoji. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? I'll do it! Alright then. If I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. What's up, Joe? Oh, Johan. I'm so thankful to know you and call you my friend. Oh my gosh. So it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. Test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry, Miss Suzada, but what could I do? It's alright, I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? Oh gosh, Joanne. Well, I haven't played 4 through 6, so you might have to wait. I think what Miss Suzato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and say you're in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure that the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day. Oh, okay, Joe. All right. But if for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Is there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that. I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. That's awful, but that is the truth. Why does it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. Cold heart, truth of the matter. is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. And his only hope. So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. I don't know if he's good or he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy. He certainly wants Naruhodo to succeed, and I think the judge, obviously there is some connection between Japan and Great Britain when it comes to a certain situation that Asogi was supposed to deal with, but I have to hope that he is on I have to hope that he's on the side that arranges for the good of whatever it is, the Old Bailey. If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. What to do. Mr. Zato, can I just ask you something? Careful! From this position, I can perform Mr. Zato takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruhodo, you heard Lord Strongheart. The trial starts imminently. If I need to throw you, I will. You could just say, I think we should hurry to the courtroom. You didn't ask me anything, and I'd better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. Oh, I see. Zato, can I just ask you? Oh, I have to... To the Old Bailey! Oh, thank goodness, we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for... One of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked perfectly. Not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all. So this is the Old Bailey. There's room for defendants to wait in this grand. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man here to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to you, madam. Sir. What are you doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? Sorry? When you look at those expressionless faces from the East, are yous? We're from Japan, yes. Ah, Japan is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do yous need? Oh, we're just here because... How you do explain, fella? I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all while in a strange faraway land. Actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no? 'Tis a grand. Let me start by giving yous 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. 1,000 guineas? Please, Mr. Zato, you don't have to shout. 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? It's nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds for weather a rainy day, you see. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Did that much rain even fall on one day? Even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Ah! Hit me in the eye. Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you, no strings attached. I want you to do something for me. Oh, to be honest, it's a little embarrassing. Trial is about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Bluster and blazes, do yous not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names? No, sorry, we've only just arrived in the city, you see. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park there in the center of London is another beautiful park. Sorry? Yo, what's up for it? I know it's been a while. It's called the McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated to the city, so I did. Yeah, so I've just been traveling a lot. I've just been really busy. An entire park? In central London? City of Smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city of its fair old people. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. But now they're the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilliard. Mostly back home to Minnesota for a wedding, and then I had a conference here in South Dakota. And then I am going to be traveling once more this weekend. It's been crazy. What is the matter with the London police, I ask? Yeah? Ha ha ha! Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGillard, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I have to say, you daft ege? I'll give you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up next to you. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get to see I mean, I did see my parents, but it was very short. But yeah, after this weekend, I will be more around. Oh, Tink, I see what's going on here. Sorry. I know what you're thinking. This chance of a fellow claims more money than the Queen. If that's true, why the Blazers can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well, no, not at all. Not at all. Well, it's a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean. That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry. You just say Reaper. I, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Baroque von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When Von Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. To this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? So it's reached a desperate situation. There's no one willing to stand in defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Baroque von Zeeks must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? The defendant is summoned and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial's about to begin. His counsel. That would be me. Oh, just time. Well then, fella. Don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. So you showed your face here. I made up my mind, so I had. Sorry. I thought I had to defend myself in there. Oh, that worked. Then you made an appearance. A student of law, wouldn't you know? There's no accident, I can assure you of that. It's just fate. So get cold feet now, please. I literally know nothing about the case or this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. This is going to be another Ace Attorney 2-4. Mr. Naruhodo. Man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Kazuma would never have allowed to happen. Counsel of the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. I'll be right there. What's happening then? My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Dear Lord, I feel like that would be very hot to be next to these fire, like the fire. Wait, heck? Is that the jury? Okay, so this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey, unless those are witnesses. You know, Ford, it was definitely not what I was expecting, but it was still kind of neat. It was definitely a good introduction, like exploration, I guess. But yeah, it was a little like, it was like, huh, that's different. Centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different than the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Remember, the country determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yeah, what? Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Jeepers. He looks like a vampire. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare the court to be in session. We are today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGillid. I now call upon the counsel of the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense. You appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. He asked if the defense was ready. I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Those eyes please me. Nipponese. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. Johan, I knew you're gonna say this a lot this game. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGillid. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a student from some little island off in the Far East, it is not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give those less fortunate a fair chance. I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGillid. What a fine gentleman London has in him. You hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please, may we go and play Mr. McGillid part? Jeez. Seems like everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGillid. That may be good or bad. That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGillid, and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Oh gosh, I actually have a jury. Yes, my lord, the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong. I'm more than ready. At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Any criminals here will be wishing they never set eyes on me. I feel a chill. Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these bits for my grandson. Mr. Haru, no, Mr. Haru, these people are the jury. Yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet. Well, that's something that's never happened in the game that I know about. That's right, I've only ever read about it. Here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passed the sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendants ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. How exactly did the jurors give their verdict? I don't know, but it'll become clear as the trial progresses. Yeah. Prosecutor Van Zieks. My lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounce your fame. I'm known as the Reaper to the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. Yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. What brings you back? Some change of circumstance with which the court should be aware. I leave that to your imagination, my lord. Reaper's been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose a day of all days to make a comeback? Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo. I love Suzato. She's awesome. As you wish, sir, the court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. Incident took place in the late evening 3 days past. Hour was some 10 minutes after 10. Victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice Fired Mason. Sorry, Thrice is a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. Victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service to the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence. And one further item of evidence. Prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are... Good lord, is that blood, counsel? Yes, my lord, seized by a policeman who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves, taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGillard's gloves have blood on them? Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well. Oh, I get into this. Back to the court before I've even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passenger trailers on this vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously. One of the passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGillard. Well, rather damning circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what say you? Well, of course I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGillard! You sure I rode the omnibus that evening? Whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness and I always succumb to it. I could have been asleep. Just motion of the carriage, my lord. And so it is. I open my eyes again. It was a desperate sight before me. Body of a man I never laid eyes on before in my life. I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. Blood gave into the gloves and after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, that statement of the drivers is only the beginning. What? There were multiple witnesses. There There's a precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Order, order, order! When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. We will hear the testimony from these witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once! Oh my gosh, why are you so cold? Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everyone calls me Beepo. I drive an omnibus in the East End. Why are you... Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city. My name is First. Lady First. I, make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witness of the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Why is his... Okay, there's something wrong with the other side of his face. Yes, sir. That's right, sir. Very well, then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. Ugh. It was the last month of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. Victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. And out of the blue, the accusers reached over and plunged him right into his guts. That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed. I did. Couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and then I saw it too. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel? Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own, but you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus? Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is. What? What do you mean? The actual scene? How? A carriage is designed to be moved after all. Presumably you understand that much. Yeah? The omnibus with the bloody crime took place in here today, in this very building. Here... What? The entire carriage? Bailiff! Bring forth the stricken omnibus. We're gonna bring the crime scene into the courtroom? Oh, this is so interesting. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. Can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Fingerprints courtrooms are amazing. Wow, that's pretty legit. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses carrying up to 8 passengers. 4 passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight in the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. A skylight. Oh. The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats? I thought those two were the only... Oh, they were inside. This is how they came to witness the grim incident. It made it sound like there were only 2 people. So the skylight... Through the skylight. That makes perfect sense. Well, counsel, this is a first. All my years behind the bed, I've never experienced a crime scene being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I'd like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Adjusting his wig. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. Wow. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence? Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. Extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination. Let's continue with proceedings then. Your cross-examination, counsel. Ray, don't expect this Nipponese stray to understand the intricacies of a British court's cross-examination rights. Very right, sorry. All right, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus. How do I access the... Open the door and go inside. Oh, the scene of a murder. It's horrible. It looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. Why not for 2 gentlemen to sit side by side, really? Or an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It'd be quite impossible for her to climb up the roof deck, so she would have to be seated in here. Women in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Ah, that's a poster from the Great Exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. Okay, this is definitely gonna have to... This exhibit definitely has to do with Kazuma. A lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exhibition. Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement about the progress of such a grand event. Can't find anything out of place. Here's a handle, it seems. Like all sort of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Feeding tubes, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. And no space for passengers to stow their luggage, that's for sure. Well, yo, I am playing Ace Attorney. How's it going, Melter? It's so good to see you. I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. Victims, obviously. Yes, and the seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that? I wonder. Well, it's after dark. The lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. The way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. That's a poster from the Great Exhibition. Quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yeah, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. It doesn't appear to be a handle or a catch of any description. It can't be opened from the inside of the cabin, at least. I just want to make sure there's nothing like in the bag. Oh, Great Britain. I mean, it's the center of the world, you know, so. Seen enough? Let's step back outside then. This is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. People sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them. They have to pay money to do so? Brr, I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in a freezing cold as punishment? Perhaps that is the real price to pay to stay out late. Phoenix Wright Omnibus, really? Really, game? Really? Of all the places to do a reference? Really? Gosh dang it, game. Especially the inside of the carriage is opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. I'm sure the witnesses could have been able to see quite clearly. That's not good for us. No, but what's this little thing? No, but what's this? I want to... Can I not explore that? That little thing looks like a latch to me. Feels like I'm missing something. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day of London. Well, I think we're coming from Gary grumbling now. No, by the way, is Mr. McGillis right-handed? Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier. Ah, pity. I've been left-handed. Oh my gosh, Johan. Let's press. Let's It was the last bus. Hold it! Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh, yes, sir. That's right, sir. And you have 4 passengers on board at the time, is that right? Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, so no. There are no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example. That's quite right, sir. No other passengers were like that. None. Nobody put the scene of the crime, then. Boston Rain does every evening, that last bus of the day. I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes. It's hard to say. What do you mean by that? Well, that with being so cold and everything and only making 20 pence on the run, you see? Guess I spend that much at the pub on the way home just trying to warm up again.
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight of the roof in the carriage. That's right. When you sit up the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There's a lamp on the inside, so I had a pretty good view. 2 of them were wearing hats. I couldn't exactly make out their faces, but there's not a shred of doubt in my mind. It was Mr. McGillid. How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? Mr. Gill is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There is no room for doubt here. Ugh. I wish there was. The accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
Hold it!
You saw the moment it happened? Didn't I already testify to that? Or are you fair? Think I'm hard because it's not considered trustworthy these days. Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. They got this back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that's... My lord! Juror number 3. What's the meaning of this? My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich, never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be. Every one of them! And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me. No point in time wasting. Listen, what is this going on? First, I thought I was about to say. What the heck? What's happening here? Let me see. Ah, yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. The fire? Apparently, yeah, white for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales, just as we saw a moment ago. Those number of scales fall completely to the black side. Does that mean... Sure, very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before. Very well, the court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. It's a nightmare.
Hold it!
Stabbed him, you see. You're sitting up the roof deck, were you? That's right, I was up on the roof seats. We're seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right out of his belly. It was a huge, great knife. Grim sight, indeed. No, that didn't help me at all. But they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. Because it made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGillard is telling the truth. only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions. Mr. First. Oh, yes, sir. Is this the knife you saw? Oh, good grief, yes, that's it. The very one, sir. Is that? Yes, Counsel, this is the blade that was driven to the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. It's a blade of considerable size, Counsel. It is. Furthermore, the scabbard is embezzled prominently with a certain initial. Letter M, which seems oddly familiar. Ugh. No. M for Magnus or McGillid, perhaps? Take your pick. Seems his particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake. But there's an M. There are M's everywhere, like, yes. Like a Mason. Blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. This weapon number almost certainly belongs to the accused. Ugh. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, Counsel. My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption. Juror number 2. Go on. Mr. McGill is a pillar of society and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. No! I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. I painstakingly typed every word here today and crossed over with all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion. Wait, do I just lose? Again. That's 4 out of 6 jury members who propose a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left. You've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse. Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. We just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly. So is this just is this like a mechanic to be like, hey, don't just press every time? But... Alright. I'll keep trying. I can't give up. Need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' test statements again. Right, letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGillet's initial, and it's beautifully gilded too. Must be very valuable, I should think. Ah, look at this M. Turn it upside down and it becomes a W. Exchange everything. A W? Yes. This is one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I don't know at all. What I am sure is that this isn't a... Oh. That is clearly watched. Why can't I move the thing? The sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Hmm? Oh, sorry. Yes, I just don't really like blades. Oh. Those don't seem like words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. It's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. That's a lot of blood. It surely is blood of victims. Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. And a little hard to adjust. Yeah, I understand. So one thing that's kind of confusing to me is how is there a blood splatter on the seats? I feel like I'm missing something important in here. That picture does look, apparently the picture does look correct though. Can't be opened from inside the cabin. Is there anything else in here that I'm missing? All right.
Hold it!
What exactly did you see? That would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsing the floor he was. The passenger, obviously you're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. And the other passenger, the knife in his hand, like this. Obviously you are referring to the accused. Then he plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly. What? I wish to speak. Yes, juror number 5. Do I take it that you too? As a master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say. Please, just keep an open mind a little. Like, gee up now, Silver Blaze. So basically, I can't. Am I supposed to, like, not press people anymore? People is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're the too kind, sir. This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Come on, nice old lady. Madam Juror number 6. Yes, dear. What can I do for you? You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand. Oh yes, I certainly have. So I got my hearing, you know. Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your learning? Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. The Gillett Park, it's called. Gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. You can imagine such a fine young gentleman would have in him to take another man's life. He's always doing wonderful things for the city. That's right. Not like that wouldn't stab someone, surely. Although we can go to the Gillett Public Library after and borrow some more books. How many Londoners live in their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of a man Magnus McGillard really is? What kind of man he is he? Philanthropist Magnus McGillard has enough wealth to purchase the entire city claims of value so highly. Where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. What? Stone the crows. McGillard lends money at extraordinary rates of interest, and so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak. I've never heard any mention of that before. Faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So this thought not cross your mind. Would a man willing enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make use of a public omnibus service? You're not saying that the victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing in his name save considerable financial liability. It was no surprise that the creditor was the accused Magnus McGilded. Let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts. Good gracious. Brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling for which to repay his debts. In the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. But the merciless lamp was pretender Magnus McGilded. Sorry, I can't. I'm not saying that right.
Hold it!
I might add something briefly. Susato. You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded. Where is the evidence to support your claim? Oh boy. Pray forgive the discouraged, yet filling my hallowed chalice in the court of law. Oh, there it is. Lord Lord Zeke's hallowed chalice. How could this be considered acceptable? I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I heard ladies in the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. As judicial assistant to the defense, I'm simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all money is loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Oh. Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. Pray forgive the discourteous erase my chalice and toast the enigmatic ease at the same time. Marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. Ah yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. The accused made quite certain he had ample recompense. Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. Incredibly, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused. And it's such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel. Still? Maybe it's all for the best. Wait a minute. Let's think about this a little more before... I don't stand for nonsense! Please... Oh. Does that mean I lose? That was it. The last juror's decision. According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence? Well, we lost. Oh. There's a footnote, though. A footnote! However, the defense... All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Bro, this was... Dude, if the game is gonna be like every time you press, you can't press too many times, that's gonna make this game really hard. Let me convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections. Mr. Zato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You're in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense. What did it say next? Oh, yeah, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict. And the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Summation? Examination?
Objection!
Summation examination? From which century has that tome been there resurrected? Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text of British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck. Oh. What even is it, Mr. Zato's so-called summation examination? Oh, one moment, and I'll read about it. I demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails? Typical Nipponese. Wow, jerk. All right, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what exactly? Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions? Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision, but that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really. So it rather fell out of use. I wonder why. Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would ever assert his right to try in this day and age. Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? A summation examination, our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? Assert our right! The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination,
Objection!
my lord. London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should be buried.
Objection!
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial. The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? I'm not, no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so all members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decision and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. This is most irregular. No mention was mentioned before. I don't really hold with all this justifying luck. All right, I wonder how many of the jury members are in on this. Seems to have thrown the jurors off. Because none of them have experienced this before. All right, then. The summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe it might be the opportunity we've been looking for to turn this trial around. So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant, Magnus McGillen, guilty of this most serious crime. There's no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck it to the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say. Absolutely brazen. I simply typed in all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. I trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised the prices above 4 pence for years. A scoundrel sent that poor man on the floor at beggar's belief. Where's for this now? Jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. We'll throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. Then, they reach their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, they recoil you, or you try to persuade them the more entrenched they may become. What am I supposed to do then? Evidence! I'm just saying what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then? However, what I can understand. The key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments. What do you mean? Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to be present at a united front, but the truth is, they're complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down. Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradiction to your statements. If we can, and then contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see. So it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I had to pull this off. We start proceedings, counsel. I would ask you to take the stand for this. Expecting a clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. Kind of worried about pressing.
Hold it!
Let's press anyway. This way, there's a digital we're alone inside the carriage. That's my point. But could there be some other explanation, something we haven't considered yet, such as? Perhaps that's something we could all work out together. And what do you? Listen here. Maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from foreign climes. We're here to form our opinions as individuals, and I have. He doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternate point of view, does he? No. I'm gonna have to pit the jurors. Why do you get the press? Alright, so here's one option that I have. It seems 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. That means it's 5 pence. And that says that we haven't raised the prices over 4 pence. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pitch.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. They do? Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear I'm so displeased in Maine, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus at the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me. And juror number 5 told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is, a fair and convenient single price. Just the way London's carriages should be operated. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, it would be 16 pence. Exactly, as I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact, are precisely one person's fare. One person's fare? Yes. In other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Good gracious. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword. Figures your coachman claims, sir, not add up. Watchword, good sir, has a fallacy. I beg your pardon? Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he let some nefarious characters ride his omnibus. All right then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end, Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side of the set of scales. Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, people! Oh, this is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. Let's go! I see, they did this to make it an introduction. For the love of Mike, not you as well. A penny could be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exact standards in financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it. You managed to change 2 more jurors' minds? We can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. Something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. And that's where you must strike next, so I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction. Exactly, you can do it. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. Set the chap next to him just like this, brazen. The scoundrel 7, that poor man on the floor. And hit.
Objection!
These 2 statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel, post haste. Oh, dear me, I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all this? Claptrap. Claptrap? Will you be playing Borderlands, bro? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3. What? Can't you see I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Well, test me, do you? Well, it was like this. Took the collection without even getting up. The prim banker said. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, jury number 6. Oh, is that to me, is it? What can I do you for, young man? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Coachman said so. Now, don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up, and he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Bless my stitches. What a muddle. What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh? But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. The scales. I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on all of us. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? And it is Dr. Jinx. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What if the 2 witnesses have slightly different recollections of events? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he sat next to him in the omnibus, as this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor and then the Shylock stabbed him again, as only saw him do it. Well, what's it to say it didn't happen like that? What are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you! Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you! They're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? The 2 witnesses see 2 different moments of the same crime? I'm gonna say it's out of the question. Kirby! Hi, friend. Hope you're doing well. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. What are you talking about, Matt? How can you say that? You guys, I'm only doing my job. Foreman of the jury, I have the responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we wanted to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me some proof. Let's go, Kirby. Yo, what's up, Escrunt? All right, time to do evidence. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime, as proven by... So, I have two thoughts. Thought number one is that there couldn't have been two different moments because the knife was plunged in one time. There's only one stab. Therefore, saw two different moments of the same crime. Or I'm thinking the blood on the seat. Those are my two thoughts. But I don't think I can do the omnibus, even though I know there's the blood stain there, because it doesn't have that in the description. So I feel like it's... Saw two different moments of the same crime. Stabbed once in the abdomen. Is it this? Hold on. Stabbed once in the... You saw two different moments of the same crime. Stabbed once in the abdomen. It might actually be that. Stabbed once in the abdomen. Oh, I want to say it's that. All right, we're going to go for it. I think it's stabbing... Because my logic is that it's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. The reason it can't be two different moments is he was only stabbed once. So why you can't stab twice because he was only stabbed once. That's my logic.
Take that!
This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once. Huh? Once? Yeah, I'm loving it so far, Kirby. I'm absolutely loving it. It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses could possibly have seen it happen two different times. Hoya! All right. I can see defeat. Wait. That means 4 jurors are leading not guilty? We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won! What are you playing at, dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. We got a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one, and if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take... That was weird. Okay. Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has slipped the balance of the scales of justice. Oh my gosh. The jurors now stand for 2 guilty, 4 not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate. The trial must continue. Joanne saying on the subway, I wish Hasfar wasn't straight. I don't know if it was the subway, but I do feel like a comment like that was made at one point during the week. I'm pretty sure the comment was definitely made. It could have definitely been while Hasfar was wearing headphones on the subway, not paying attention, but it could have been in a different location, not the subway. I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. But I don't remember if it was on the subway or not. I'm pretty sure the comment was made though. It could have definitely... Look, I'm saying that's a possibility. I'm very confident. I'm more confident that the comment was made, but it could have definitely been while you're wearing headphones. So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case of the prosecution, if you please. It's definitely way more amusing to think that it did happen on the subway. I will say that. Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice. Oh, that's funny. Oh, man. It may seem crass to crush it to the dust. Please forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks. Is it golden here, or is it just me? He's like Xemnas? Oh my gosh. As your antiquated dote to say, the prosecution may not speak during the summation examination, so I honored a deathly silence. Listen to the charade. Seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. No matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, well, let's proceed to the next round of battle. Bring forth the witnesses once more. Sorry, I need to soak in this song. I gotta soak in this song real quick. Love it. Witnesses! I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure. Yes, sir, that I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Yes, sir, I heard it. You, sir, on the end. The coachman. I believe it's Beeple? Yes, sir, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you are attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury, are you? You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh, mio dio, Now the witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You explain the various misgivings brought to your attention by the defense's summation examination. Dude, this judge is badass. I only carried 4 passengers tonight. I swear it, but, well, everyone was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He fiddled us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood curdling sight as well. It's all too much. I tell you, I saw McGill that stabbed me, that man. Everything I said before stands. Yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured in existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion arisen from the coachman's sly little poisonage. Beeple, explain yourself! I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The Guild's fare is 4 pence across the board, you know that. I understand that you've been overcharging your passengers by a penny a fare. It's so cold, and the last one of the days are half empty. You have been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, people, a disgrace. Your selfless actions have brought dishonor to the entire guild. If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus last week. What? 4 passengers at 5 pence each is 20 pence. Done the arithmetic 10 times, I just can't make the result come out differently. No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. Already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I should intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely.
Hold it!
What do you mean, but, So there were only 4 passenger carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence. Is that right? It's impossible to make the last one that they paid. It was so cool. It was all you in the bed now. I'm getting chill brain. It was terrible. I wanted it. Dedicate government for an extra penny per passenger. You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. I'm gonna be the 5th passenger on all of us that night. I was hoping he was gonna say something else. Oh well.
Hold it!
This blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir. A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the Jen was stabbed. Good gracious, really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. It would be very significant. Alright, the banker tried to make me take a sharp intake of breath, you see, and that's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw the horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. I've never seen a knife now. I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating.
Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGill, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him. That's what I said, isn't it? Probably me before, but this was. Just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question. I mean, there was only 2 beside the carriage, wasn't there? Much talk of a 5th passenger. As yet, 0 evidence. What are we wasting all this time for, eh? Black and white, the man's guilty. Grandpa's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was.
Hold it!
What do you mean, I think so, yes? You testified that you saw the moment in the village you said the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes, that's right. You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. I suppose. Might have, you know, yes. Put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horse when I heard a scream from the seats of the roof deck. Oh, actually, that was me, sir. That's when I turned around. Yes, I saw it through the skylight. It was on the floor, and the knife was sticking out of his midriff. Yes, and the fellow in the handle was the famous man. Yes. In short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all. I really thought I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I?
Truth! Excuse me.
You have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now, you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't see the exact moment the fellow stabbed. What were the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I'd be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. You just happened to see the exact moment of the crime was committed? Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is. Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I have you know, and I know what I saw. I remember it clear as a bell the other day. There was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the color there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that, all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after the butcher stabbed the man?
Hold it!
Blood-soaked? Ahem, well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but Anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them are covered in it. And you saw that from the roof. The skylights? Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view. There's a lamp on the inside, so I'm quite certain of what I saw. This banker's latest statement. I feel sure there's something not quite right about it. We got him! We got him! I agree, Susato. Court record! Not long ago, this trial nearly came to an end. Somehow we managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light. Ah. Yeah. So, careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction on those witnesses. So you want to probably press the most likely information.
Objection!
I object! Objection! Blood-soaked hands? I meant that soap might be laying on a little thick, but... Anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them are covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGillen, on the night in question. Yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Yeah, but no, that can't be right. You're the liar here, then. That's right, you were clear about it. You said here, both hands. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands, it was only one, but the fact remains. Victim's blood was on the accused. No, Mr. Fairplay, category said that you saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Why am I sitting back everybody saying my word should be the gold standard? I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe, unstanding members of society don't provocate. You're assuming they have no reason to lie, but is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying. We can turn the tide of this trial completely. And this show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. Wait a second, I never looked at this. Portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry. Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? I remember my great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. Sure you will not find Mr. Schultz name inside? Well, let's see what we find. Gosh, it's kind of full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Goodness, what is it? Look at this. Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay. Does that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. The witness testifying at this moment. Oh, yes, of course. The banker. Why is his name in here? He borrowed 20 guineas, didn't he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course. This could be very useful information. I have evidence! My lord. Yes, counsel. The defense is ready to present evidence. By Jove, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Flippy had reason to lie in his testimony. Ah! Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates the motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
This is the list of the debtors who owe money that Mr. McGill did. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accuser's extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable amount of sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGill were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which would be owed him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? Order, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Let me ask you again. And be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in time in which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. All right, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch. A pinch? It makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGillet's hands, both of them. And yet only one of the defendant's glove, which we have here as evidence, is stained. You keep saying... I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir? Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself. As it happens... Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yeah. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? That only, unless there's another person. Huh. It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yours. Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Holy crap. What the witnesses really saw. There's blood on both of the hands. I sincerely remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't see anything myself. Nope, not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone outside the country who will see. Well, lo and behold, in truth, the fact, not only one of you witnesses was not one of you was witness to the crucial moment of the crime was perpetrated. Apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside the carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating and evidence had about to say what we saw the man do. It's really not what testimony is about. Let's examine the interior of the omnibus once more. Victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating with the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well, your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
Yeah, that kind of matters! Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance as well as you well know. But for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could possibly have done it. I was just trying to save us some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? How do you hope to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? I will. That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I lost a little guinea or 10 when I was on the run towards the derby, so I was gonna win it all back through the fixture this weekend. That's the sure thing. I'm picking one bad sides of my Barlow spending money over the weekend. You may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. There's been scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? Yes, actually.
Hold it!
You saw that too? Blood on both hands? I mean, I know what you're going to say. One of Mr. McGill had any sign of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGill sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves. No, that's correct, sir. I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true, the dark color stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGill's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands? Puzzling, indeed. This must be significant. I'm sure of it. It's because there was another passenger.
Hold it!
Many thought the incident was through the skylight of the roof of the omnibus. That's right, it was fiercely cold that night. The glass wasn't frosted over. I just remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right, it's public bus stores. Basically, that's not what I call fair play. I had the same exact experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside was just gestured me to clear off. I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and click down longingly into the warm cabin below. Like I said, I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring it on and on, and that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocally, I would say, I'm not sure about these two witnesses. They really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? I don't think they could have seen the backside. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events at the cabin through the skylight and the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. The possibility cannot be denied. And at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. To identify the area on this cross-examinational plan of the omnibus. Where exactly the omnibus are you suggesting that the potential extra passenger could have been situated? Well, I was thinking here.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I've drawn here. Ah! That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one in which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. God.
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. Here, Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth and ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're about to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Any, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? Okay, so here's what I think happened. I think there was someone impersonating Mason who could have been in the other seat. I have an inkling. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned. Let's not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger to the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from the view was...
Take that!
Concealed in the blind spot of the cabin that night was none other than this unexpected passenger. Whatever so-called logic you used to arrive at that conclusion, it matters not. Oh, I blundered. Ah, dang it. Mr. Naruhodo, I need to defend Mr. McGillard, and we are working on the assumption that he is innocent of his crime. Yes, of course. Why? Must mean then that there was someone else inside the omnibus with Mr. McGillard, the true culprit. That's right, exactly what I've been... Oh, of course, so the two people sitting inside the cabin that the witness saw through the skylight that night. Oh, they want me to pick Mr... Okay, I had kind of the right idea. I see, I see. I kind of had the... Yeah, okay. Alright, yeah, that makes sense. Passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses of the rooftop failed to see has to have been Mr. Manus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Or Van Zeeks. Or Zykes. People talk about those tiny little... People talk about those tiny island nations of the Far East as having learning and culture of their own. I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an Arliss backwaters usually so might understand. When the bloody scene was unfolded, the victim and the assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. The very premise on which this case is built. But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded? It creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, counsel? The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim. Even though that the truth to be otherwise, only one glove bears the glory remains. The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blows on that passenger's hands, both of them. And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary. Order, order, order. What exactly are you postulating? The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. Witnesses are clearly said that they saw the accused. When elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. Tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. That's right, both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to know such things, sir. Particular styles of these two hats they sport. I'm afraid I don't remember. You call yourself a hat. Style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How could you be so sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. Gilded, would undoubtedly have offered to dispose that fact. Unless, that is, you're proposing an even more preposterous explanation. The accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled? Huh? He is right. If there is another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilda would have been unaware of it. Order. There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. Gilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. What if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out that the man would have been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. Gilded to testify or not? I actually don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I feel like I'm supposed to demand his testimony, but I don't know if that's actually going to work. We need the truth. We need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilda to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilda has to say. Get the man out here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. So then he's doing get it done. That's how I run into the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say. Oh yes, that would be lovely. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Yeah, let's show the defendant. Dude, is the head juror the killer? What if this dude's the killer? What if the head juror? He's been weird. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Head juror is acting sus. That's all I'm saying. Let proceedings be resumed. Oh, I was kind of hoping for a break. That's fine. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus captain as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Again, no, it's not my nature to hide anything at all. Answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you all, or keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded. Fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on that night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true? Aye. 'Twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... What? No, Manus McGilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'd be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into here, this courtroom, just like myself. They're trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. Who was this young child of whom you speak? I don't know. You don't know? Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. Never saw her before since. We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. Prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak. Listen to the proceedings. What? What's going on? Mercenary, cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accusers escape. Secure the omnibus. For emergency procession, bailiff, ensure the defendant is in the corner of the courtroom. Oh my gosh, this is dramatic. We were hurriedly removing the smoke from the courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Oh my gosh, it's insane. Saucy. I'm shocked there's not more like investigation, but they kind of included it in the trial. Save progress. Holy crap. What in the world is going on? Who's the real culprit? Why did they try to just escape the courtroom? This child, allegedly. What could possibly be going on? Find out next time on Great Ace Attorney 1. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a fantastic night, and we will see you next time.